Thank you, Dan, for that report. That's going to do it for the first half of our show. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Rob Dew talks with Thelma Tormina. Now, she's the woman who recently pulled a gun on a CenterPoint Energy worker to stop him from installing a smart meter on her private property. I guess she doesn't like spy devices on her personal property, violating her family's privacy. Obviously an extremist. She shares her experience and talks about the entire incident when we return right after this.
Christy Hightower here for PlanetInfowars.com, bringing you your weekly Patriots Are Talking update. Every day, I get more and more excited to see how you Planet Infowars users are utilizing things like events and missions within groups to come together and share knowledge, or reading your articles where you're sharing your research and your passions. For example, user Paul wrote an article this past week called Grassroots Activism, and he provides a short explanation for why and how you can exercise your civil rights. Or even on a different subject matter, if you're looking for how plants can heal you and help your health, you should check out Galen's article detailing 5 great herbs for your skin. Lavender, I think, is among them. And also, lastly, a reminder that we are paying attention to your well-written, well-cited articles. Melissa Melton actually has an article from Planet Infowars titled CDC Pushes Measles Vaccine. And we've now featured it on the front page of Infowars.com. So if you keep great articles coming like that at us, I guarantee you you'll get there too. So thanks again for all of your hard work, and keep the knowledge flowing. Till next time, Patriots.
Have you been to InfoWarsShop.com lately? Express your inner patriot with these brand new InfoWars t-shirts. Say it loud with the InfoWars Bullhorn shirt, or educate the sheeple with the Bill of Rights shirt. Grope the public's mind with the TSA shirt. And with this shirt, you can let the dark side know of the Rebel Alliance's power. All available at InfoWarsShop.com.
Sick of the globalist eugenicist control freaks adding poison to your water and laughing as you get sick and die? Start purifying your water with ProPure. My friends, I've done a lot of research, and the best gravity filter out there, bar none, is ProPure, and it's available discounted at InfoWars.com. Its filters are silver impregnated to prevent bacterial growth. There's no priming required. It's NSF 42 certified. Optional fluoride filters can reduce fluoride up to 95%. Easy to set up and use. Doesn't require electricity. Purify water from lakes, streams, ponds, and wells. This filter system leaves in beneficial minerals, which is key. Save money by not buying bottled water and avoid BPA that leaches from the plastic. ProPure is the best gravity-fed filter out there. It's what my family uses. Infowars.com already has the lowest price on ProPure. But if you add the promo code WATER at checkout, you get an additional 10% off at Infowars.com. You can also call to order 888-253-3139.
And we are back on the InfoWars Nightly News. Today's date is July 20th, 2012, and it is Friday. And I hope you enjoyed hearing from our guest hosts today, David Ortiz and Dan Badandi. Both flew in for the second part of the interview process that, you know those guys were finalists in the reporter contest that was huge, overwhelming support for that. Lots of people participating. It's too bad everybody couldn't win, but there are only a few slots available. So we'll have more people in next week, and just enjoy it and see what they bring to the table. Everybody's bringing their own life experience to the table. And a big thanks to Darren McBreen for doing the first part of the news. Now, yesterday we covered a story. Woman pulls gun to prevent smart meter installation. And that was Thelma Tormina. She's from Houston. she had this bureaucrat thug jumping over her fence, going to take down her original meter, her electrical meter, and place one of these smart meters up, which we've gone over the litany of problems they have with them. They haven't been tested. They're trying to push these things on you. And so she was forced to defend her property and herself by using her firearm, which is what everybody's right is to do with the Second Amendment. Because we don't know if this bureaucrat's right. Just because he says he's right and because he claims to have this authority, it may not be true. He didn't have a court order putting this in. There was nothing. He was just going to jump over her fence and do it. She clearly had the signs posted, and she defended herself rightfully so. So we turn now to Thelma Taormina. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So tell us about this story. I was talking with you on the phone today, and you related that, this incident didn't happen 2 days ago or 3 days ago. Why don't you go ahead and tell us the story?
No, it didn't. It happened a year. It'll be a year ago next month. And what happened was he came around to the neighborhood, was placing door hangers on the door, would ring the doorbell, and all of a sudden he'd disappear. He was gone on to the next house. Well, when I got the door hanger, it pretty much said, "Congratulations on your new smart meter." So I tried to walk down my front yard to catch him, and he was already gone down the street onto the neighbors' houses.
So they were making this.
Back, he,
I'm going to interrupt you just for 1 second.
Driveway, and I was at my back gate, and I went and I met him halfway down the driveway and told him he wasn't going to install the meter. He insisted he was. This went on for 3 times. And then finally he said, "Okay, fine, I'll call my supervisor," which was the appropriate thing to do. The unfortunate thing is either he didn't call his supervisor or his supervisor gave him very bad instructions. Because what happened is he drove around to the backside of my property, which fronts on another street, and he jumped my fence. I was in the backyard, and I was standing in front of our meter. And when he came over the fence, he almost kind of was like on a run because he was a real big guy. He came over the fence and just kind of, the inertia just kept going. So when he got to me, he literally shoved me out from in front of my meter. And I asked him to please leave my property, and he wouldn't. And I tried to step in front of the meter again to try to stop him. And then I tried to place my hand on the meter so he couldn't do it. And he just kept shoving me and shoving me. And then he took his cell phone out and he was making a phone call. I asked him who he was calling. He said, "None of your business." And I said, "Okay." And then he said, "I'm calling the police." I said, "Good, I would like them here." And then he turned around to me, closed his phone, and he said to me, "Better yet, you go call the police, because by the time they get here, I will have this meter on and installed, and there won't be anything you can do." So I thought, okay, I better call the police. So I headed in to call the police. I reached for the phone, and just as I reached for the phone, I thought, this is kind of crazy. There sits my purse. I have a concealed handgun license, so I have my handgun in my purse. So I turned around and walked back out my door to the middle of my backyard, and I just looked at him and I said, "Well, how about I get my gun?" And he said, "Yeah, right." Like I didn't own one. So I proceeded to go back in the house, and I did get my gun. I never pointed it at him. It was already loaded, never took the safety off. And as soon as he saw the gun, he turned around and left the property. Now, this guy was 6'1", 230 pounds. I know that because of the police report. And I'm 5'3", and maybe 120 pounds. So he was twice my size. I mean, this guy was a big guy, and he just was taking no for an answer, and he didn't follow protocol at all. So it wasn't like, I'm not suggesting that people, if they see somebody come to install a meter on their property, they shouldn't go out there with a handgun telling them to get off the property. But by the same token, they do have the right to refuse these meters, although the Texas PUC is trying to tell us we don't have that right. But the bill, which is HB 2129, which was passed in the 79th legislature, it actually encouraged the deployment of the smart meters, but it also included a consumer option. And they didn't follow that rule. And they also had in there that they were only supposed to deploy 1/3 of the total meters each year. In other words, this mass full deployment, all done over this short period of time, was never meant to take place. There are letters into the PUC from the author of the bill stating that there was never a mandate, and he's very concerned that his constituents are being forced to take and pay for these smart meters. But yet no, we have petitioned the PUC twice. In order to get a public hearing, you have to either have 25 or more people in the state ask for a public hearing, a government body or agency ask for a public hearing, or an association with over 25 members ask for a public hearing. Well, we have 193 petitioners asking for a public hearing. We also have our association, which is a legitimate not-for-profit organization, and we are an association, and we have asked for the public hearing. They have turned us down twice and will not allow us to have a public hearing on this.
Well, of course, that's why they shoved this technology down our throats, because they know if we actually got to look at the technology, or if there are actual real studies about its effects, we would say no. It's like GMO foods. They have to keep shoving that down our throats, and they don't let us even debate it. It's all, you're crazy if you don't want to eat this. We've had scientists working on it for years. And this goes back, you know, you said they put a sign on your door that said, congratulations on your new smart meter, like
Yes.
you've won something amazing. And then you have signs posted on your fence, posted next to your meter, that you don't want this thing, clearly, no trespassing. You got this thug jumping over your fence and then trying to just manhandle you out of your way. He pushed you 7 times?
7 times.
Yeah, 7 times, pushes you out of the way. The news comes out and kind of does a whitewash story on it, trying to make you look like an aggressor. In my opinion, that's what they were trying to make you do, make you look like you were the bad person for pulling out your gun, protecting yourself. Because they don't want people out there protecting themselves with firearms. They want everybody cowering, calling the police whenever anything happens. The police are going to show up. You know who they're going to side with? They're going to side with the power company.
Yeah, I've heard that has happened. We're finding more and more, though, that we're trying to contact the police departments, because really this is civil law. This isn't criminal law. And as long as no one is vandalizing the meters and nobody is destroying any of the transmission and distribution companies' property, such as the lines and the meters and all of that, then no criminal charges can be brought, nor is anybody doing criminal activity. These companies in the state of Texas, and I'm sure in other parts of the country, I know in Texas, they are using bullying tactics, they are lying to people, they are threatening people with turning off the power. They really are using heavy-handed tactics to get this